Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. I hope you're having a great day today. I want to welcome you out here to my home, and it's time to wake this fescue up back here. This right here is a test plot. My plans back here for 2021, around July, we're going to start a renovation process. We're going to smoke all this off, fill in this ditch, put in irrigation, level it out really slick, because I'm going to be putting Kentucky bluegrass back here, and I know they tell you can't have Kentucky bluegrass in North Carolina, especially where I live in the Triad, where it gets super hot in the summer. You know, I've always heard the Kentucky blue won't handle the heat, but I kind of disagree with that. Over the past couple of years, I've showed you two different spots back here in the backyard where I was kind of testing it out, trying it out. And in my personal opinion, if you water it right, and if you feed it right, and you take care of it right, I don't see any reason why you couldn't have it if that's what you want. Obviously, Kentucky bluegrass is not a turf you want to try deep south outside of the transition zone. And when we get done back here, all this will be nice and slick, and we'll be able to reel mow it. We'll keep this bluegrass cut down really low, and of course that'll be the absolute test for it for the summer. I ain't had no issues whatsoever with my two test plots, so I don't think I'll have an issue back here either. So this right here is an EarthWay spreader, and I know it's a 2150 model, and I know you guys are used to seeing me use big commercial equipment and all that, because I mean I do it for a living, so I have that kind of thing. I'm very fortunate and blessed over the past 18 years to be able to have some crazy nice equipment, and I'm an equipment nut. Y'all all know that. But EarthWay called me and said, hey, you mind if we send you some spreaders and you kind of show them? And that's what this is. Now, I'm a big advocate of not taking equipment and making a video on it and saying, hey, look at this stuff and buy it. But in this case, they called me, said, hey, you want to work with us this year? I said, I don't mind. So they sent me this. They sent me the belly spreader, and they sent me the bigger commercial one. And I basically want to teach you how to use it, okay? Now, with that said, I was very upfront with them and very straightforward and said, look, I know you're sending me this stuff, but if there's something I don't like about it, I'm going to tell them. And, it is what it is. I typically don't have a filter on my mouth when I go to, especially talking about equipment, because I want to be straight up with you. So with that said, it's one of them things, you either trust me or you don't. That's totally and completely your decision. I don't care either way. But I will give this an honest opinion on it, and let you know what I think about it, because I got years of experience with spreaders, and so I can compare this DIY commercial type unit to what I would call a real true commercial piece of equipment, kind of like a Lesco or Anderson spreader, or even some of the motorized ride-ons. I've had them all. So let's get to it, and I'll give you my 2 cents on it and see what you think. Now here's another thing. They were good enough to give me a coupon code, so if that's something you want, if you like your review on it and you like it, you can get 5% off. I'll put the coupon code in the description below. If you want to check it out, it's there. If you don't, keep on rolling. Now, when they ship it to me, they send it to me in a box, and everything you see right here was in that one box. It took me roughly about 35 to 40 minutes to put the whole thing together. It wasn't overly complicated to put together. I'm like most typical stubborn males. I throw the directions in the floor and I start putting things together. That's basically what I did, and I looked at the directions every now and then to make sure I was going in the right direction. It's a pretty straightforward install. I mean, it's not much to it. Everything I think on it 7/16 bolts and nuts, and everything lines up right. It assembled good. I didn't find any like flaws in the manufacturing or anything like that. So that was a bonus in my book. That's something I saw on the side of the box that I am absolutely stoked about. Made in the USA. I absolutely love that. It comes up out of the great state of Indiana. I've been through Indiana a couple of times, and man, it's pretty up there, and I like Indiana, and I'd love to go back. Now, one thing I did do is I got the side deflector with it, because you know, when I edge out here next to the road or hard surfaces like that, I like to throw that side deflector out. That way I'm throwing my material straight and to the left. Now the kit that come with it had the option to put a deflector on the front and the left side if you wanted to, but I just left those off because I'm just trained to go this way and throw the fertilizer straight and to the left. It's just the way I've always done it. So the other two deflectors, they're not doing me any good. Now, one thing I did do when I put the agitator in the bottom of the hopper, so I took a pair of pliers and I bent it over slightly. I didn't bend it over enough to where it drug the bottom of the hopper, where it just barely hovered over the hopper. That way, when I get down to the bottom, that agitator's really close to the bottom and keep that material stirred up. I don't know if I'm supposed to do that or not, but I did it because I just felt it would work better. Got everything adjusted on it. The linkage and all is pretty straightforward. It's a few little 7/16 nuts that you kind of, mess around with, get them lined up, adjusted right, and then your hopper will open and close like it's supposed to. 40-pound hopper right here, and it just so happens magically it's a 40-pound bag of protein. This is a protein 2005. It's got 4% iron in it, and I've had some really good luck with it since last fall, so we're running that right now. And one of the unique things about it is a very tiny prill. I know a lot of the DIY homeowners, they really, heck, I spread fertilizer for a living, and I love the tiny prill. And not taking anything away from this piece of equipment, because this is literally the first time I've used it, so I can't be fair to it yet. But knowing what I know, and when you're using a true commercial grade spreader like a Lesco or Permagreen or Turfware or Z-Spray or something like that, those things are designed to handle a bigger prill fertilizer with ease. What I mean by prill size is the actual size of the granule, the SGN on it. And that's a measurement in millimeters, I believe, is how they measure that. They put a number beside it. And typically most of them are 220, I believe, SGN. This is a 180 SGN. It's a little teeny tiny prill. So with me looking at the holes down in this hopper, I see zero issues whatsoever with it being able to spread it. This right here, I'm running at 4 pounds per every 1,000 square feet. That's going to give me about 0.8 pound of nitrogen per 1,000. I've got 10,000 square feet right here, so 40-pound bag. Now here's the kicker. Yeah, I got a warehouse full of it, but here at the house, I ain't got but one bag, okay? So I need to make sure I get this material spread out over this 10,000 square foot evenly, or as close to even as I can get it. So I'm gonna kind of walk you through the steps of what I do to be able to do that and be confident in my application that I've put down the right amount of product over the right area. First thing you want to do is you want to make sure your speed's consistent, okay? I'm not gonna go down this strip and run with it, and then on this strip over here crawl with it. I'm gonna keep a decent walking pace the entire time. It don't have to be absolutely spot on perfect, but I'm gonna try to walk my normal pace, maybe a step quicker, because if I walk just a touch faster, it'll spread and cover a little more area, because the whirlybird will throw a little harder and throw it out a little further. Second thing I'm gonna do is look right here at my setting. Right here's your handle where you pull it back and forth to open the hopper, and that'll drain the material out. And as the whirlybird's going, it'll catch your fins and throw it. And I see it goes from 10 to 30. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start down here low, because I ain't got a clue how fast this stuff's gonna come out, because like I said, it's brand new. I just put it together, never used it. So I'm gonna have to kind of wing it right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off on a lower setting, and what I mean by lower will be around a 15. So I'm gonna start off on about halfway and see what that does. So if it goes to 30, I'm gonna start off on a 15 and see what happens. All right, now one thing I don't wanna do is I don't wanna get right here in one spot, open the hopper, and take off. I want to back up a little bit from where I'm going to start, getting a running head start, and then open my hopper. Remember, I got the side deflector on. All right, so right off the bat, I can tell it's coming out way too fast. I ain't done nothing. It went from here to there, right there, and I can visually see that stuff dropping down. So I'm gonna back it setting on up a little bit. I'm gonna run it back down here to about let's try number 10. Let's try number 10 and see what that does. Same thing, I had to stop right there, so I'm gonna back up a few feet and hit it. All right, now that looks a little better right there. Now on my second pass right here, I'm actually watching that fertilizer come out, and I'm actually throwing all the way back to the edge of the road. And when I get up here to where my grass meets the beds at, my natural area, I'm just walking around here and edging it out, watching it hit that edge right there. Now, same thing over here on this edge right here. I try not to get it in the bluegrass because I'm running a different program on that. Whew! Boy, I'm gonna tell you what, I'm used to that other thing where I don't have to actually push. Talk about that, pushing it. This is some really thick fescue back here. I'd say it's pretty much thick as my fescue in my yard. My absolute favorite thing about this piece of equipment so far is the tires. They're big, air-filled tires. They're easy to push. I really, really like that. And I am huffing and puffing because I'm fat and out of shape. And I've been sitting around hibernating all winter. So give me a minute, let me mow a few times and I'll get my breath back. So here's my line going down through here. Right here, I know you can't see it, but right about here is my inside tire track from my previous pass when I come up this way. What I'm trying to do is as I walk, I'm watching that previous tire track right there, and I'm watching this material come out of the hopper and it falls right about where that tire track's at. Then after I make this pass right here, I get down and turn around and come back up, I'm doing the same thing. I'm watching the material come out of one side and meet my inside tire track from the previous pass. That's going to ensure me a good, even coverage. Now you see, when I get to the end of my pass, I'm going to shut my hopper off. The reason I do that is I've already made this trim pass right here. No need in putting double the fertilizer there. Now you can see I'm roughly halfway done, and I'm roughly got half of the material left, so we're looking good. Now one thing I did do is I bumped it up to, that's about a 10, 11, 12, that's about a 13 right there. You see this little knob, you turn it, and then you put the inside of it on the number you want and lock it down. Now the reason I did that is I made the trim pass, that first pass, remembering it was coming on out pretty quick, and I backed it up. Well, when I raised my deflector and started throwing out both sides, it looked like it wasn't coming out good enough. It really wasn't moving a whole lot. So I kind of adjusted it and bumped it up a little bit. All right, so I went over the whole yard and look at that. I ain't got just a little bit left right there in the bottom. So what I'm gonna do with that little bit I got left is I picked the worst spot in my yard. And it's this strip right here. Of course, that's by the road. Typically road is where you're gonna have a lot of issues, or the most issues. So I wanna pump this up just a little bit more, and I've already pumped it up, so I'm gonna lose it right down through here. All right, you can see I got just a little tiny bit. Now, the bottom of this hopper's flat. Some people that might bother you. It don't bother me one bit, because what I'm gonna do is just shake it a little bit. You know what I mean? Might pop a wheel up like that right there. You just kind of work it back to those holes. Look at there. She's gone. So maybe you can see it right there. It's on a 13. And you see how when you open that up, it butts up against that little stop so it won't go further. So if you got you a 2150 or you think you want to get one and you're using the protein, looks like setting number about 11 when you do your edge, and then you can go up to about a 13, and that'll get you really, really close. All right, well, there you go. I now know that I can run this on about a 13 and be safe. The summertime is a 12024. Fertilizer Preel's the same size. And on that summer blend, I'll be running the same 4 pounds per thousand, so I can pretty much use the same setting. Now when we get to the 600, that is 6 pounds per thousand. So we'll have to open that up, maybe go around to 15 and try that out. But we're gonna keep this here, and then I'm gonna take it to the shop. You know, I got my Bermuda at the shop. Some of you watch me for that. And when I do my granular applications out there, we'll use it out there. And pushing it. You know, it's always been a big pet peeve of mine, is I like a spreader that's easy to push. And I have to say, just being straightforward and honest with you, it pushes pretty dang good, even in this thick fescue right here. In the heat of the summer, I'll cut this right here at 4, 4.5, but I just got done mowing it, kind of give it the first cut of the year. And you know, it's looking pretty good. It's a little off color for me winter, but that's fine. The protein's gonna pump it up a little bit. But this is 3.5 inches right here, cut at 3.5, and I had zero issues pushing it other than me being fat and out of shape. That's really the only issue I got. So hey, I hope that helped. Hope that answered some questions about spreader settings and how I would go about it. And I would do this with any spreader, whether it be an EarthWay or, you know, that Echo spreader that my buddy I showed you up there has, just any of them. That, heck, when I buy a brand new motorized turf wear or Z-spray or whatever, a commercial motorized one, I treat it the same way. I usually start off on a lower setting, kind of eyeball it, see what's going out, how much area I've covered, and if it's really flushing out, I back off. If it ain't coming out enough, I'll inch it up a little bit. Once you make 2 or 3 passes and then you start looking over the yard and see what you got left to cover and compare that to what's in the hopper and what's coming out, you know, you can do it. Okay, you got this. It's not rocket science. Just be patient with it, go slow with it. Now, let's say if I'd have kept it on that 11 and went over the whole yard, and I finished over here and I had material left in the hopper, like half material, well then I would take and go the opposite way, like this, and I wouldn't change my setting, because I know if I went over the whole yard going one way on a certain setting, and I've got half that material left, I can pretty much go over the yard the opposite direction, and when I get done, I run out of material. Hopefully that makes sense. A lot of you have been asking me about the smaller bag on the protein. Well, we got that now. It's in a 20-pound bag too, so we got a 20 and a 40-pound bag. And again, on this spreader, if it's something you're impressed with and you want to get one and try it, I'll put that coupon code down there in the description below, and you can check it out if you want to. Say, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch. I got their belly spreader, and that's going to be for like little tiny yards, and you don't want even a spreader this size. So before it gets dark, I'm gonna go over here and film that on this little piece of grass I got over here and show y'all how to use that. So that video will be coming up here pretty soon. Appreciate you watching. I'll check you later.